You know what my wife says to me when I get like that? She's like, not literally, and maybe sometimes literally, but she says, pull the car over. And what she means is that just pull the car over, stop driving in a direction that you think you should go in because you're directionless right now. And you're actually possibly driving yourself further away from where you should be. Pull the car over, stop, let all the cars drive past you, and don't worry about where they're going. Let the traffic go past you. Don't worry about it. Just enjoy the fact that you're actually stopping. Ignore the traffic, ignore everyone else. Focus on where you want to go. Choose your direction and focus on it.
Reading books on the 7 successful habits of this and the number 1 way to overcome that. And reading books is just good information. How to overcome the fear of public speaking, right? How to deal with your traumas. Reading about things, watching these things. Like if you're just watching this, listening to this, and then you're not going to take action on it, you're just doing exactly what I talked about in the beginning of this episode, which is getting those dopamine hits, feeling motivated and inspired for a moment or two, and then you're going to move on to your mediocre average life and still stay addicted and fat and broke. I don't want that of you, man. That's what the opposition wants of you. The opposition wants you to be easily controlled, easily dominated, easily managed. So they want you to stay weak, broke, fat, unhealthy, and they do everything they can to keep you that way. I'm fucking rooting for you because I love you. I love you to pieces. I know there's a savage human being in you that can overcome their traumas and stop self-sabotaging and stop those vices and addictions and develop impulse control and build mental and emotional toughness where you don't emotionally react to things anymore. You just respond to things as a man. A man responds to things, right? Someone who's emotionally weak and frail reacts to things. They let their emotions get the best of them.
There's a few guys who really have the taste, have the drive to go to the top. I want to go to the top. I want to take it. I feel the energy of the crown, and I can take it. So, and that's why I'm doing that. That's why I'm still talking about that, to be there, because I really feel that I can be the top. And one thing what I needed is that I had to be stable to not just get to the top and back and out, but to go to the top and know how it is to be there. Know to keep all these weights on the top. What there is.
Yeah, defending the title is more difficult even than getting the title. And then it's improving while you're champion. You know, they say that Daniel Cormier always says that every champion improves like significantly once they become champion, because you have the confidence of being champion. And it's just, how long can you maintain the kind of energy that's required to constantly get better? Because it's not just about maintaining, right? It's about constantly improving. So constant analysis of all your movements and what you're doing right, and what your mistakes that were made, and what the thought process was before the mistake, and how to eliminate that.
Well, I think it's important to do things you don't like. And I was very ashamed of my life story for a long time. I didn't want to go out and tell anybody shit about me. So that's why I had two people. I had created one David Goggins and one Goggins.
Right.
And I didn't want people to know that I had all these issues. But after a while, people start to give you these different taglines. Like, you're superhuman, you're amazing. I'm like, you fuckers don't know anything about me, man. I'm this insecure kid. And I started realizing there's a lot of people out here who are going through a lot of problems that I once tapped into. I had a whole bunch of issues growing up. And, I felt compelled to just, you know what? You got to start sharing this stuff, man, because people see where you're at today. They see where you're at today. They see the man you are today, this rock hard human being. Show these people where you come from. Right. Show these people it's possible.
I met a lot of people, including myself, that always, when there was the switch to the next year, many people always have their new plans and new ideas, what's going to change in the next year and what you're gonna start to let go of, and what maybe is going to be something new that you are starting to integrate into the next life. At the same time, sometimes it's also good to realize whether you are already sometimes caught within some type of a habit. And to take a step back, especially at these times when anyway things are slowly getting more quiet. I would suggest that everyone takes a personal small retreat. That means retreating back to yourself and really ask yourself that question. What is it essentially that you are looking for living this life? Regardless of how old you are right now, how much of where you want to go did you achieve already? And also, are you actually still finding yourself on the way to wherever you wanted to go? So first of all, before we even know which future direction you would like to go towards, number one is we need to know where are we actually standing right now. So to know where we're standing is, observe your surroundings. They can give you an indication where you are right now. Look around you. One indication. Second of all, look inside of you. How do you feel about the way of life that you are at the moment living? You had almost 365 days from that current year right now. How do you feel about it? Where did it brought you? Where did you decline? Where were you able to increase something about you?
You know, we don't get to hear our eulogy when we die, but every day we're writing our eulogy. Think about that for a moment.
And you begin to learn more about yourself the more you spend time with yourself. Most people, they sit in the car, they turn on the radio, blast that motherfucker loud, dude. Noise, distractions. They can't sit with themselves 5 minutes. They can't handle it. And it's a process of realizing that if you're by yourself and you feel lonely, then you have a lot of self-work to do. I enjoy being by myself. I enjoy being in my mind because I'm learning who I am. Most people go through life not knowing anything about themselves. They think that they're their name. They think that they're this three-dimensional piece of flesh that walks around. They think that they're their nationality or their religion. No, these are things that have been put upon you. And once you break away from these things, once you understand that you truly are a limitless individual, then the game begins. But you have to get to the point where you believe these things. The Bible says it best. The Bible says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So it all starts in the mind, because the mind, right, leads to actions. Actions lead to habits. Habits lead to lifestyle. So if you want to change your lifestyle, you need to retroactively change your mind. And that's the starting point. That's the catalyst of all things.
As I visualized being on a cliff, my higher self was saying to me that there was an invisible bridge in front of me that was going to take me to the other side.
Yeah.
It took a lot of faith to walk over that bridge, but that's what I did.
You have to have that faith in yourself. You have to have that invisible bridge below you and know that you're going to walk across it and get to the other side. You're not going to fall.
Because again, it's a great distraction, isn't it? You know, getting up and going to work is a great way to spend your time avoiding things that you don't really want to have to deal with. And it's also more productive. So the harder you work, the more you achieve, the more you achieve, the more you tell yourself you're okay, the more you tell yourself you're okay, not dealing with it.
I'm crazy enough to go through, to be in the moment, to stress my body so much in this situation, to see every movement, every start of the movement of my opponent, that I can react before he starts.
So I think the healthy aspect of it has been a great aid to me, as well as the tendency to want to be isolated, to not need anybody, put it that way, to not want anybody, because that's just what I learned. Life is easier if you don't need anybody, and it can be a lot easier if you want nothing more than what's in the back of the car. But that can be a solitary life, and a lot of times being solitary can be confused with being lonely. And being lonely can lead to anger and resentments and stuff that you got to work through. And okay, at the 68, a lot of those years have been dealt with dealing with the latter and enjoying the former at the same time.
Ism for my team is just win, and that's all I care about. Like, just win. And if it's your idea, it's my idea, it's the janitor's idea, test it, see if it works. And so that's been really, really big for me.
Nothing's ever going to be perfect. So when you look at it, you take the information, you go, okay, how can I apply this to myself? Are there things I can change? How can I make my situation, which is challenging, as good as possible? But I will say this, and Arthur Brooks shared this with us. If you're thinking about how you can become or be the best parent, you're already 90% of the way there because you care.
So I realized this anger ain't shit. I didn't think about my dad beating me up. I didn't think about kids calling me nigga. I didn't think about any of that shit. I thought about, man, this fucking water is cold as balls, man. I get the fuck out of here. So I realized anger was no fuel for me. It may have got me to say, I'm gonna be somebody. Anger got me caught up in some serious ego trips, man.
You have control of this. This belongs to you. This is yours. You're the captain, you're the master, you're the foreman, you're the general, you're the head. Don't give control of this to nobody, especially the devil. Do not let Satan come in here and function and operate, because he has one mission: to keep you off course, to make you not think it's possible, to make you think that God don't hear you. His job is only to destroy you, to make sure that you don't become what God intended for you to become. That's the mission of the devil.
You got heart, but you fight like a goddamn ape. You see, what stands between us and achieving even our most ambitious dreams has far less to do with possessing some magical skill or talent, and far more to do with how we approach problems and make decisions to solve them. And because of the continuous and compounding nature of all those millions of decisions that we face on a regular basis, even a marginal improvement in our process can have a huge impact on our end results.
Which is right where you know that you belong.
You have to find a dream that's so big that it overwhelms all of your fears and causes you to never give up.
So let's pick like Denzel Washington, right? Or Will Smith or whoever. It's like, say they have a awesome movie and it does well. Say they have a bad movie and it flops. They're not gonna be like, I quit, it's over for me. They're gonna be like, all right, we on to the next one. What's the next thing, And I think that we have to remember that life is just full of all these amazing moments. And when you look back on it, you'll see the beauty in everything.
There are no good old days, man. There are no good old days. You gotta go back and use it for strength, man, but it's where you're at now.
I think the most one of the most powerful takeaways, challenges that you pose in the book is the schedule it in thing, man. Because the biggest thing that I hear, and I know you must hear constantly every single day, is like, I don't have time, man. You don't know my life. I got this, I got that, I got this.
Yep.
It's not going to happen for me.
Right. What you don't have is you haven't prioritized your life correctly. We all have time. We all have time. What you've done wrong is that you didn't prioritize yourself. You didn't prioritize that, look, motherfucker, I got to get up and win this war today against myself. I need to look better. I need to feel better. I need to eat better. I need to prioritize time.
Or I got to run 100 miles on broken feet.
Or you got to do
whatever
that.
It is.
That's it.
I had to unlearn the fact that I'm not who people have told me that I am. That I'm not what, a school teacher dictates that my future is, that I'm not what my parents think that I am, that I'm not what religious structures tell me that I am, that I am whoever I choose to be. And that's the most important thing that I've truly learned in my life, is that not only can I determine who I am, but in the future tense, I can, through my actions, determine who I will become.
If you truly care about making this new year better for yourself, better for your family, if you want to become that 2.0 man, the man that is just unfuckwithable, my friend, you have to take action on this. It's a non-negotiable. You have to take action on these things. Get fit, figure it out how to get fit, figure it out how to work it into your hard, tight schedule. I know you're busy. So am I. So is everybody else. But we all have the same 24 hours. Oh, I've heard that before, B. Doesn't it take money to make money too? No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
More is always going to be revealed. And this too shall pass. That governs absolutely everything. If you are having the greatest time in your work, this too shall pass. If you are successful, this too shall pass. If you are sick, if you are experiencing great tragedy and great drama, great difficulty, this too shall pass.
If you're going to do it, do it. Say what you can do. Do what you say. If you can't do it, don't say you can do it. Don't over-leverage yourself. Don't over-leverage a decision and then jump in and kind of dip a toe. I think I'll try it out. No, think if you're going to try it out beforehand, but when it's time to go, dive.
Eat clean, work out, get lean, be fit and healthy, because it not only takes away your depression and anxiety, it makes you more confident. You become a role model to the people who look up to you. You have more energy, you're more focused, you're fighting off things like Alzheimer's, diabetes, heart disease, all these things that are controllable and killing humanity at an alarming rate.
The more you're able to let go, the quicker you are going to approach along this way.
Is that I'm sure it was awful, but because of it, the pain that you felt from it caused you to rise to another level.
That's what is life about, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm still, yeah.
You need the challenge. And when things are easy, it's very difficult to develop character. That's why for young people, I always tell them you should choose to do something hard. Choose to do something hard for your human development, for you as a human being. Because if you just live your life in comfort, you will have a terrible life.
And sometimes that anxiety and all of that, like looking forward to something, it can hold you back from just naturally being like, look, it's going to happen when it happens. I'm going to be ready. And, you know, everyone's situation is different. So that means it could be like, say you fail the bar exam 5 times. Like, it's like you're not going to go your whole life failing the bar exam. You're going to eventually get it because your preparation is going to meet the opportunity. As long as you are being aware, as long as you are being like, okay, that's probably where I messed up at. Let me really do my, the time you put in is never wasted.
But those fires start by a little motivation. And this is what I'm looking at, man. It's like a little spark starts these big fires. And it's so crazy. That's why I look at motivation. Motivation is just a spark, but those little sparks, if somebody comes by real quick with some water, that fire's down, it's out. But if you come by and that little fire, no one touches it, and that little fire, which is motivation, which is kindling, and that kindling grows off to, like they call it, 1 hour fuels, 2 hour fuels, 10 hour fuels, 10,000 hour fuels. You want that thing to boil over and catch a nice big log. It's gonna burn a long time. And that big log starts catching everything on fire. This is your soul. So motivation a lot of times can be fucking just put some water on it, puts it out. That motivation needs to turn into drive, passion, obsession to what you want to become. And once you become obsession or driven, it's a fucking inferno.
And so again, it's like and this is where I think like entrepreneurial pattern recognition is so valuable, is like every entrepreneur that I know who has had something successful and then started something else with the assumption that the first thing wasn't because of luck, because we have probably both seen some guys that got richer than they should have. I'll just put it that way. Because I remember I had a dinner with somebody once who was like, and I'll loop back, but he said, isn't it crazy that like Gym Launch could be the biggest thing you ever build? And I was just like, that is not true. I wholeheartedly reject your premise. I was like, I know exactly what we did to build Gym Launch, and I know all the reasons that it's not as big as I want it to be, and I know what I'm going to do next, and I know how to win. And that guy never ended up building something bigger than the exit that he had. And it might have been because of his view of the world or because he got lucky or whatever. Right. But that pattern recognition for most entrepreneurs that truly are self-made, that forced their will into existence, their ability to get it again after losing it all, or just when they take their second or their third or their fourth swing.
If you wake up in the morning and you start having negative thoughts, man, this ain't my day. I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. I'm tripping, I just don't feel myself. Every time you feel, in the middle of the day, if you feel yourself doing that, Stop. Just stop for a second. And start going over in your mind everything you have to be grateful for. Not everything you want. Everything you already have. Because what you have is substantial. You just haven't gone over the list and taken inventory in a long time. But the fact that you can walk, that's a blessing. The fact that you woke up, that's another blessing. The fact that you can see, think, reason, that's another blessing. The fact that you can go somewhere and get yourself something to eat, that's another blessing. The fact that you can go and turn the key and call someplace home, that's another blessing. The ability to dream is a blessing. The fact that you have an opportunity to get it right is another blessing. The fact that you're beautiful, that's another blessing. The fact that you have any measure of health, that's another blessing. And I'm just talking to you, I don't even know you. I could give you 50 things you ought to be grateful for right now. I don't even know you. Start coating your mind with gratitude. It'll change everything for you.
Every test you go through is sent to you by the universe that is exactly on your level. The challenge, your opponent is exactly equal to where you're at in order to get you to your next level. And the only reason the next level isn't comfortable is because it's not your current level. It's a level that you're not familiar with. So of course you don't see it. Of course it's illogical. Of course it's dark.
Once you understand that most people don't think, you need to do the opposite of what most people do. Most people are followers. And the worst thing you can be is a follower of a follower. That's what most people are. Most people are following followers. I want to follow my conscious. I want to follow my consciousness. I want to follow my decision-making process. I want to follow my morality. And in order to get to these places, I need to discover them. And nobody's going to discover them for me. You go to a church, what, some preacher's going to tell you on a padded pew with the air conditioning who God is? What God wants from you? Why can't you speak to God yourself? Why can't you have a relationship? If that guy could, why can't I? And once you understand that what's available for other men is available to you, you begin to have a real journey towards self-exploration of self.
We're at our most effective when we have some kind of singularity to focus on. You know, it's like, this is what I love. This is who I love. This is the person I most want to have this conversation with in my life right now. This is what I need to do to be healthy. And I think when we're focused on things that are ultimately giving us purpose, we manifest without even realizing it, you know? And I think when we get into that place of hopelessness that you've been in, I've been in, others have been in, and are in, it's when we split that singularity up into 55 things, 100 things, 1,000 things, 1,000,000 things. At best, they contradict each other or counter each other. At worst, they actively fight for your attention. And you can't give your attention to everything. And so that's where you end up just standing still, questioning your own purpose, your own abilities, because it seems hard just to take a step forward because there's so much noise that's around you. When I've been at my most effective and best for myself is when I've been least affected by that noise and the most focused on what I know is moving me emotionally and inspirationally in my life.
Yeah, I've never heard it put that way, but that resonates deeply. I remember I sat down with one of my spiritual teachers probably when I was, I don't know, maybe like 10 years ago. And I said, I've got all these ideas. I want to do all these things, but I don't know where to start. It was what you just described, that like fragmented, distracted.
Yeah, static.
Static, yeah. And I said to him, I don't know where to start. And he said something beautiful to me. He said, open every door that you possibly can. And then he said, the doors that close, let them close. And just keep walking through the ones that remain open.
That's amazing.
And it was the best advice I've ever got in life.
Yeah.
Because I felt like all of us were just standing at one door or 10 doors, just trying to open all.
It's difficult to have other people criticize you. It's difficult to deal with the fear of uncertainty. But when it's all said and done, you and I are going to be dead. This podcast won't matter. The successes that we've accomplished in life won't matter. The failures that we've accomplished won't matter. So enjoy life. Don't take it so seriously and enjoy the process of experiencing every potentiality that life has to offer.
I'm nervous before I'm going to go speak or something. I got a little thing in my wallet. You're going to die one day, McConaughey. And I'm like, that relaxes me. If I'm going in, complacent, I got another note and tell myself, what you're about to say and do will outlive you. So you better fucking do it well, you know, to get me more on edge.
I think it's understanding there's no replacement for persistence, as simplistic as that is. It's like, you know, disappointment either destroys you or drives you, and you have to decide which one it's going to be. If you don't consciously decide, there's always going to be more BS for you to deal with.
Think about that for a moment. The disciplined people execute no matter what because the outcome of what they're doing is more important than how they feel that morning. It's cold, it's hot, I didn't sleep well, I had a nightmare, I don't feel like it, it's gonna hurt. Who gives a crap, right? The disciplined person takes action no matter what. The self-developed person takes action no matter what.
In the last 20 years of stories I've heard, the ones that had the most traumatic and painful stories of sudden death, of trauma, of loss, of bankruptcy, and then they made a decision to create light out of that darkness, ended up being the most successful people that I know today. And here's what's interesting. How they got there, they say that it was not even logical. There was almost another force that took them there because all they had to do was make the decision that I want to be light. That's all we need to do. People always say, well, how do I get there? You don't need to know how to get there. You just need to make that decision. It's the decision you made. And then the rest took shape. Like all of this, like miracle after miracle, there's a force that pushes you to get there. But I always tell people, like, the darker the period you've been through is the greater the vessel you have.
Don't waste your life. Set your goals high. Quit thinking about what's wrong. Start thinking of what's right. Love a little more, hate a little less. You have no idea what you're capable of doing. Make up your mind today, you're going to figure it out.
There's also a different time in life for sometimes it's scale, sometimes it's speed, sometimes it's strategy, sometimes it's sincerity, sometimes it's, you know, like, I think what you realize is that if you just go speed, like, that doesn't actually make any sense.
Well,
like,
you miss your opportunities more than you actually grab them, I think.
Yeah, you think about like being a Formula One racer, it's not speed at every turn that helps them master the track.
Yeah.
Speed's a massive part of it, but
only when you need to go fast.
Only when you need to go fast. Like round the bend, if you just go fast because you're like, no, I just got to beat the other guy, you could potentially turn over and throw the race.
Throw deep, baby. If you're going to do it, do it. If you have the chance, do it. Don't pause. They're instinct, man. If you got an instinct, go at it. Throw deep.
Self-confidence, and still there is something what you can do better, yeah, every day. And that's my idea of the training, life idea, to go better every day, 1% better, 1% better. Even if you can't train, you can sit in a meditation and visualize how you train, how the body's working.
Nothing special about you. You never got your nose busted. Well, leave it that way. Nice and pretty, and what's left of your mind.
It's